Well, hello there. So it's day 2 of my flying lessons. This is something that I am actually doing. I am training to be a pilot. I will eventually be a airline pilot, but it's only day 2, so it's going to be a while before that happens. So if you're curious, these are the types of planes that I'm learning to fly in. These are Piper Warrior 2s. They're pretty awesome. They're really, really nice, very light aircraft. Like, it doesn't take much for wind, like, right now to push them aside if you're not paying attention. So yeah, I'm just hanging out here. I got here a little bit early. My lesson is at 10. I'm just waiting for my instructor to show up, and we'll get started. So, the wind is at 30 knots. We cannot fly. That's very annoying. It's also really funny because my instructor, he had sent me a text message. Well, he had written the text message, but he forgot to send the text message. So I came here, and he was like, yeah, we can't fly. And I'm like, oh. But it's okay, because we were scheduled for tomorrow at 1, when the weather will be much better. So that's what we're going to do. So, yeah, very exciting. Very cool. So, almost got in my second flight, but not quite. So, yeah, we'll pick back up tomorrow. So, good morning / good afternoon. It's the next day, and I'm here very early. It's like 20 after 12. My lesson isn't until 1. Got here early because that's what the city bus dictated. So that's where we're at. So I'm just walking over the airport right now. So I don't know if I'm really gonna, well, I know I'm not gonna be able to get any video of me flying because there's no way for me to really do that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the experience so people can understand that I'm actually doing it. Because one thing that you don't know about piloting an aircraft until you actually physically do it is that when you're in the aircraft, you can feel every single thing that the plane is doing. So that's pretty wild. And just the feeling the load of the engine as it's going is incredible, but being able to feel like this when the wind slightly pushes the plane to one side or anything like that, you will feel it. And it's quite the sensation, especially for me, like being autistic. It's a bit of a sensory overload, but in a good way. So yeah. And that's basically that. So I just want to talk about that really quick, because I think that's like a really cool discovery / revelation / thing I learned. The other thing that I thought was pretty interesting is, like, there are so many noise abatement practices in place at the airport because, it's just a residential area, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I would love to live near an airport. I think that would be very convenient for me, but I understand why people don't like it. There are a lot of feelings that people have about Tweed and the Tweed expansion. I understand why. Property value is very important to the people who have lived here long before the airport came in, and I get it. I don't want to see anything happen to the airport because this is where I'm attending flight school. But, I understand their perspective too. The other pilots I've talked to are, I shouldn't say other pilots because I'm not a pilot yet, but the pilots that I've talked to, they feel kind of similarly. They understand both sides. I think it's smart to remain neutral for the most part and just roll with it. So yeah, and I have no idea, by the way, what we're gonna do today for my first lesson. I'm sure I will be practicing steering and taxiing, which me and taxiing don't get along very well because planes are not meant to drive, they are meant to fly. So moving a plane with the pedals is a pain in the butt. it's not what the plane wants to do. So yeah, it's a little weird. I don't like it, but it is what it is, you know, and I will get used to it eventually. So yeah, anyway, I am going to see you guys after the flight, and if I get to catch any cool videos of planes, I will put those in. We just got done with my second flight, first lesson. We did a lot of learning how to stay on course, maintain heading. It was interesting because I'd always been very curious, like, how do you actually know when you're going, like, 030, for example? Well, you got the little thing that I cannot remember the name of at the moment because, again, this is only my second time in that model aircraft, but you use that to maintain heading, and you're just basically turning in that direction. It's, yeah, it was very cool. So we did a lot of working on maintaining heading, altitude, keeping the plane level. I had a feeling that was what we were going to do. And we did a practice landing. He landed the plane. I didn't. I just controlled a few things. He basically wanted me to feel what it feels like to land. And it's kind of funny because I went into this with a lot of prior knowledge and, like, based on the descriptions of how to do it, feeling it, it's like, yeah, it feels exactly like how people describe, which was pretty cool. And with the practice landing, he let me do takeoff because right when we finished that practice landing, he just, like, put the throttle full up, and I'm like, what the heck is he doing? And he's like, all right, pull back. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, I put the plane in the air. And I didn't really fully process at first, like, what he was telling me to do. And then when I realized, I was like, oh, we're going back up. And the funny thing was, my stomach was fine. And, like, we were basically at the end of the lesson at that point, but, like, you know, we climbed to 700, then we climbed to 1,000. We took a sharp right turn. Boom, the motion sickness hit me. And I had been pretty fine up to that point, you know, because motion sickness really is not, like, an issue for me. But it did it to me, and I was like, barf bag, barf bag, barf bag. So, yeah, I had motion sickness during my intro flight, too, toward the end. I think, though, like, it took me a lot longer this time to get motion sickness than the first time. I did not have any problems with my ears at all. I don't have airplane ear right now, which is good. So, yeah, that's that. I mean, I'm sorry that I can't, like, take a video of myself flying. That's kind of not really possible at this point in time. I don't know, maybe in the future I'd like to get, like, a GoPro or something to stick in the cockpit just to, and see if Gabriel's okay with that, because if he is, then I will do that, you know, because that would be kind of cool just to get, like, one video of me flying so you guys can see I actually do it. I also took some photos of my logbook so that you can see that I did, in fact, fly the plane. You know, like, I have actually been doing it. I have been up in the air. It's that logbook is everything. That's proof that I am doing it. So I now officially have 2 hours of flight. 1,498 to go. Because I do eventually want to be an airline pilot, and piloting a 747 is what I want to do. And you need a lot of hours to do that, and a lot of education as well. So, you know, that's the thing. But that's okay. That's fine. That's my goal. So there it is. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.